Excuse me, I just pressed record, so I'll record the last 15 minutes. What the heck? Anyway, thoughts at all from the breakout rooms on the questions of the day?
We better say something genius since you're recording right now.
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering how when I write record in big bold letters at the top of my notes, I cannot remember to record. So
But you get so excited to talk to us.
yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. So STK, what a perfect example of contributing. Anything from the breakout room or the training earlier?
Yeah, we got a guy. Mark's got something to say.
Yeah, Mark had the best insight today.
Okay, we'll get to Mr. Golden Gate Bridge in a second here. STK, you first, and then Jeff.
Oh, I was just going to say that I invited Nikki today to experience a little bit of David. And what I think you're doing here, every time I come, you're better. Like you're a better facilitator. The event is better. So I just want to compliment that. And I love the topic. So
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that very much. And yes, thank you, Nikki, for coming, and everybody else that are first timers too. Jeff.
I wanted to grab a screenshot real quick if you're aligned to that.
Of course.
All right, everybody. I'll count down from 3. Go ahead and say cheese. 3, 2, 1.
Cheese.
Got it. Cool. And yeah, we had a great conversation around our individual styles and the way that we focus or are good listeners. So it's unique to each individual. And the more self-awareness you have about who you are as a person, I think supports with that. So that was a conversation Carrie, Nikki, and I had.
Yeah, good point. Mr. Caton, you had something to add from your breakout room.
Well, we talked about really never got off the first question about, listening. And Charles brought up a very important thing about curiosity and gave a quick, short scenario of him in business going in and quickly finding a solution, but then finding that even if his solution was there, he got feedback that he didn't benefit because people didn't feel listened to. So his solution came faster than they were listening to. And one of my suggestions was that there was an actual benefit to him to listen, because when he gets buy-in by his clients or whoever he's providing his solution to, that further benefits him in a roundabout fashion, because they're going to then agree, for the most part, with what he has presented. So that was the only thing I said.
Good point. Thanks for that input. Sajad.
Harry, you had your hand up. You want to go first? I talk enough. I'll go second.
I'm happy to talk, and I talk just as much as you, Sajad. So, we should have conversation.
And you're almost as pretty as me, too. We're both very brilliant and good looking.
There you go. What I was thinking about, and I don't know that this was exactly said in the conversation, is expectation. And to the point earlier made about curiosity, I think when we show up without
Carrie, you muted yourself. Wait, Carrie, you muted yourself.
I did. Of course I did. When we put aside our expectations and we show up from a place of curiosity and grace, meaning holding space for and giving people the ability to be where they are in any given moment, you really are able to create a deep and meaningful connection through not just listening, but being just present with what is rather than what we expect it to be.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Sajad?
I completely agree with that. I teach that too. Operate with intention. Don't be concerned with the outcome. So don't try to you have an intention to what you're doing, but you're not desperate for getting something, but you have a purpose to what you're doing. Yeah. Everybody was wonderful. Where'd the young lady go? Did she leave? No, Debbie was cool as hell. Walter's cool as hell. Very kind, nice people. And did the other woman leave? Did she leave, or did people get moved around? Oh,
no, I'm right here.
Oh, there she is. Sorry, you went from over there to over there. Julie is a damn superstar. That woman is sweet and she's brilliant. And it was just, I mean, Walter, back me up here. She was great, man. Like she's really sharp.
You got a
Really
great
smart.
smile. Great smile.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
thank you.
super warm and inviting and attractive. I'm not hollering at you. I date 26-year-old. but like you're like really you're magnetic and
Oh.
dynamic. You're really attractive.
Thank you so much.
David, to echo Suzanne Taylor King, and you know I don't ever lie or say anything nice. You did a perfect job today.
Oh, thank you.
Killed it. Like usually I call you and tell you everything you did wrong. I don't have like you were perfect today. Oh, and then a shameless self-promotion. Tomorrow's polarizing networking, the most polarizing networking on the earth. My partner is Jen Carpenter. She believes in no like trust, go giver, and it's all about relationships. She's wrong about everything, even though she's highly intelligent. It's about driving a $76,000 twin turbo and having a super hot 27-year-old girlfriend. That's the meaning of life. David, you did a great job, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Sajad. I appreciate that. Charlie.
Just to build on all of this praise that you're getting, David, you had more wisdom per square inch of anybody I've listened to in a long time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're looking good in that new office, by the way. I think that new setting is great.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, speaking of,
why don't you fly in and we'll spend some time together?
I will. I'm planning on that. I'll go to STK first, and then I'm coming to your place. So
Well, you go to STK, you ain't gonna leave.
that's probably a good point. Okay, so for those of you that were here last month, it's always kind of hard to predict who is there from month to month. Does anybody remember the homework assignment from last month? If so, raise your virtual or say whatever actual hand. John, you remember? You're muted.
I wasn't here last month. I was going to comment on something else, so I'll just be quiet and let you go. I'm trying to figure out how to lower my hand right now.
Sajad, do you remember? I don't think you were here last month, Sajad. I think you missed that one.
Found my notes.
Yes.
It was making a list of all of your most memorable events in life.
That is absolutely 100% correct. And so let me just mention, because the proctor or the student or the teacher, rather, the instructor, of course, does he have his homework done? Because it's already done. Here it is. The top 100 most memorable events of my life. There's 3 pages on this. And the whole concept behind this is you can do either a top 25, top 50, or top 100. If you're my age, it's more than likely it's a top 100, or my good friend Mark, one of the few people that's older than me, which is so important to me because I'm always the oldest guy in the room. But it's so important to put these things down. And I was looking at mine, had it on the bulletin board, and then put in order of importance. What are the most important? Number 1 for me, my son Connor. Number 2, Kyle. And it goes right down the list. Private pilot license, owning my own airplane, national champion hydroplane driver, blah, blah, blah. All these things, the top 100. You're having a bad day and you go look at this list, you will feel better. It's unbelievable. I recently, for those of you that know me even more intimately, if that's going to be the right word I'm going to use, I had a flood in my condo. It's a freaking nightmare. And my deck and my fireplace and TV and living room, dining room, they're all plasticized off. So I'm
I want to look on that list to see where your buddy Walt's at on that list. Where's it at?
I think that's in the addendum. I gotta check and see down here. But the thing is, so 2/3 of my condo is not usable. But guess what? I still have a great view of Lake Washington. I get this office. If this office is flooded, it would have been a freaking nightmare with printers and computers and all that kind of stuff. So it's focusing on the most memorable events of your life. And I did that wording very specifically because it's not how much money you made or what kind of car you drove or anything like this. It's that what are the things that you're going to stick with? So on your dying days, as you're coming, like Sajad, you may be having that with your father at some point. What are the things that you remember? Where's where you made an impact? So did anybody do it from this actual last time besides Jeff, Sarah? Mark Caton, good job. All right. So Mark Caton, you have a gratitude journal, don't you? If not, I'd
Yes, yes, I do. Yes, I do. But I have to amend that. I only did the top 25 because you gave
That's
me.
all right. No, it's okay. It's just the whole idea is that for me, if you get to be yours or my age, it's going to be more like 100 things than 25 or 50. If somebody's younger, I wouldn't expect they could, but they wouldn't necessarily have that much to do or have that many on the list. So But it's the reason I gave you the homework on it is it's so important to do is because it takes time. You can't think of it all at one setting. You have to kind of keep the pad of paper and pen or whatever you use, or put a Word doc on your desktop and just add to it and add to it. And I mean, and there's all sorts of things. So I saw the Beatles twice. I ran a marathon in 1981. I ran 24 10Ks. I authored 6 books. I mean, they're just different things. You can't think of that all at once, but as you start thinking of those things, you'll be amazed. And again, print it and put it somewhere where you can see it. Mine is right next to Theodore Roosevelt's The Man in the Arena saying, which I just love. Better to be scarred and muddy and dirty than being the poor, cold, timid souls that do not know victory nor defeat because they never take a chance. Some of us just have to take chances on things. So, all right. So a couple other things, and then I'm going to do one exercise and we're going to wrap up. So on August 4th, I put this in there, August 4th, April 4th. I'm starting a high-level Gratitude Infusion Roundtable. It's in the chat if you're interested, but let me just read to you a little bit about what this is about. Please join me for a high-level group of like-minded individuals that want to take their appreciation and thankfulness to an elevated level in the Gratitude Infusion Roundtable, different from the mastermind. Plus, this
I
one.
don't see it in the chat, David.
What's that?
I don't see it in the chat.
God, again? What the heck? Wait, Cal, let me try this. Oh, I think what happens is when somebody sends you something that like,
Yeah, you're automatically responding to them.
yeah, I think that's, okay, hold on.
I told you hire one of my
I see it.
It's up near the top too.
Yeah, it's up there at the top. You have to, it says
okay.
see more.
Okay, perfect,
See
thank
more.
you.
You gotta click the button.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, because I did put it in earlier too. So this monthly meeting will give you consistent tools to navigate the sometimes challenging obstacles that we all face in life. The power of the mastermind will assist in helping you build stronger coping mechanisms and coping skills. The agenda will feature a member focus for the month, a guest speaker, a content pillar, a breakout room, a recommended book, and numerous exercises and activities. Feedback will be highly encouraged. The roundtable will be limited to no more than 20 individuals. Don't you miss your chance to be a part of this group. Gratitude is going to be on the first, Infusion Roundtable will meet on the first Thursday of the month. It's $97 a month, and there's a link to sign up for it right in the chat, which obviously is a little bit towards the top. So, all right, so we have 4 minutes to go, and we're going to do one little exercise to wrap things up, assuming that there's no other. Get a piece of paper out if you would, and a piece of paper, a pad of paper, a pen, whatever. We're going to do the UR exercise to wrap things up. Some of you have heard this before. It's always a good one to wrap up on, focusing on how blessed you are and the many things you bring to the table. So write UR at the top of the page, Y-O-U-A-R-E, UR. And then underneath that, I'm going to give you 60 seconds. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to be your biggest cheerleader. So it's your husband, your wife, your best friend, your son, your daughter, your mother, your father, whoever is the person walking this earth that thinks you're the coolest cat in the world. I want you to be that person for 60 seconds. And what we're going to do is there's my stopwatch. I want you to pretend you're them for 60 seconds. So they go, you are talented, you are funny, you are pretty, you are nice. However they would describe you, write as many words as you can to how they would describe you, go. And stop. And I'm sure in many cases you could write a lot more words, but we only have 60 seconds for this. So with the so reread, it took you 60 seconds to write it. Take 10 seconds to reread each one of those words that describe you from that best cheerleader and plant it in your brain, and just put those each in your brain as you read down those over 10 or 12 seconds. And with a show of hands, either actual hand to the screen or a virtual hand, how many people after reading that feel better about themselves? Raise your hand if that's the case.
That was easy.
Yes, it was. There's such a perfect example of how a gratitude journal can impact you every single day. It's talking about all these blessings. I had somebody come in a talk once to me and they said, how can you even have people write down their shortcomings? What do you mean shortcomings? What do you think is Dave's negative talk here? Yeah, you're all gonna go depressed and want to go find a bridge somewhere to jump off. Shortcomings, for God's sake. Your blessings in abundance. Gratitude turns what you have into enough. So anyway, so good job. So almost everybody raised their hand. At Mercer Island yesterday, about half the people raised their hand and half didn't. And Julie, did you want to say something?
No, no, I'm just raising my hand. Sorry.
Oh, good, good. No, I mean, yeah, I have to watch myself once in a while. This is too much information, but at Mercer Island yesterday, I know there's about 60 or 70 people, and about half of them raised their hands. And I kind of looked the other way, but what's wrong with you people? That didn't have an impact on you? And it was even actually the gratitude thing, what they're most grateful for. You should be talking about your health, your family, your friends, your kids, the roof over your head, food in the refrigerator. You can always focus on things you're grateful for. And they all just sit there looking at me like this. like the Amish at Circuit City, it's like, whatever. I mean, it's just one of those things that I don't understand. So anyway, any last questions before we wrap up? Thank you all for attending today by saying, oh, wait a minute, Kevin and Connor. I think, did you, Kevin? Oh, no, you just raised your hand to say you felt better. Any other final thoughts?
I'm grateful.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. I appreciate
Now,
it.
you put me in a room with John Tonsick, and it was very easy to practice my listening skills because he is very interesting, and I was taking notes, just so you know.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
leave you with this. He said it was very because he's a forensic accountant.
Yeah.
And under pressure, under enough pressure, almost anyone is capable of doing anything, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, that's true.
Could be a good and a bad way. So thanks, John.
That's a good point. As I've gotten to know a little bit more about John, he's got some interesting stories. I've watched a couple of his videos too. It's really interesting too. Anyway, but so all right. Any final thoughts? 100. So we start and finish right on time. Thank you all. We'll see you next month.
Thanks, everybody.
On for April for our next gratitude. Thank you all so much.
Bye all.
well.
Great meeting.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.